When the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law 30 years ago, it was required that all public spaces and institutions, including our public schools, be made accessible to all. Yet in 2020, the majority of school districts are not accessible for students with disabilities. A recent study finds that 63% of public school districts, at least a quarter of the facilities, aren't physically accessible to those with disabilities.
Hi, my name is Jeff Zerba and I've been a school teacher at Cleveland High School for the last 30 years. As you can see, I'm also in a wheelchair. I'm a quadriplegic and have been using this chair for the past 37 years. At Cleveland High School, I've had to kind of battle accessibility issues the whole time I've been there. When I first started, I would have to park in the back of the school and wheel about 600 to 700 yards to the side of the school, hope the side doors open, and then go through the boiler room, find a custodian to help me take the freight elevator to get into the school. Now we have two accessible entrances. Parking is a long ways from both of them, and it just makes it difficult to get into the school and hope that those doors are open that you can get into.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm always curious how people can get away with not putting ramps.
This historic investment will improve access and equity and result in better outcomes for all students.
Hi, my name is Arlie Holzweisig and I am a junior at Cleveland High School. It is so incredibly important that we vote for this bond, not only to make the school physically accessible, but to make our education accessible. If the bond is passed, there will be $53.4 million put towards a culturally relevant and accessible curriculum. As a student, I want to go to a school that is not only welcoming, but is prepared to teach every race and everyone, regardless of their ability.
This commitment to access will end the segregation and exclusion of students, teachers, volunteers, parents, and grandparents, and will send a strong message to our young people that the Portland Public School community values and supports individuals with disabilities.
I think it would be really important to vote for the bond because it'll help with the teachers, the faculties, and the students so they can have access to computers, iPads, and different types of readings. I think that's kind of important for the education piece.
I think it's very important that each school in Portland Public in PPS has an accessible entrance at the front of the building. We talk about inclusion all the time, and when you're making folks with disabilities or having to use wheelchairs, or community members or students trying to find that accessible entrance into the school, is just unnecessary in these times. It makes a person feel like they're less. It just makes things a lot more difficult, and it's pretty degrading for people to have to go through that.
We need to remember that when we put money into our schools, it has a serious impact on our community. Even if it doesn't directly impact you, it impacts the students, parents, grandparents, faculty, and everything in and out of the school. And we need to show our future generations that we value everyone who comes into the school, that everyone belongs. So go vote for the bond.
Portland Public School leaders have rightly acknowledged that for far too long, we have created separate spaces for students with developmental and physical disabilities, even though 2 decades of research shows that inclusion of those with disabilities in general education settings serves all students better than segregated instruction.
Kids with disabilities and without should be able to go to school. Grandmas and volunteers and teachers with disabilities should be able to go into any school. When we go in the school, teach our students our disabilities, our race, we all belong. Next bond, finish the job you have been talking about equality a long time. Vote for the bond. Free our people.
Vote for the bond so it can help the Portland Public Schools. So vote! Woo!